Hi, I'm Andrew with Back-to-Back Rescue Shelter, registered dog trainer, registered nurse, and shelter director of Back-to-Back Rescue. We're pretty excited today to show you the training and only their second session, not second day of training, but second session of training with these dogs. And we want to teach you how to teach your dog down and what pitfalls to watch out for. So the first thing is there's quite a few steps to this. It's quite a lot to cover in one clip, but it's going to give you a basis. So the first thing that we do, lots of dog trainers do this, and just a lot of people in general do this, is they'll use a treat, a lure, something for the dog to follow, like toucan sound, follow your nose. So this is a great method, but it's very important that we fade it away as early as possible. Kind of get rid of it, and then later on use a hand signal or a body language signal. So in this case, it would be like a down like this. Now, the next thing we're going to talk about is something that is not commonly heard of, but we call it overshadowing. What is overshadowing? Basically, overshadowing is a dog or any animal notices one stimulus more than another stimulus. So basically, I'll give you this example. If I go like this, down, there's three stimuluses there. There's the treat, there's me doing the hand motion, and then there's the verbal language cue that I'm giving for stimulus. So it's very important that we separate them, because really the most noticeable thing that they notice is the treat. They're not really noticing the hand motion right away or the verbal cue. So it's very important that we separate them so that they can actually understand what each one needs. So the next point is, once they do the behavior, how do we mark that behavior? How do they know, okay, that's the behavior that my owner wants me to do? In this case, we want them to do the down. So one thing that is really great is to use something called a marker signal. Marker signals are great because they say the precise moment of okay, that's the behavior I want. So for example, if I go down and then the dog starts to go down, I can go good, or I can go yes, or I can use a clicker and click the behavior. That way the dog knows, okay, that's the behavior that my owner wants. The problem with just saying, good girl, Grace, the problem with that is so many behaviors can happen when you just say, good girl, Grace. The dog might go up, the dog might go down, the dog might wag their tail. They don't know the specific behavior. But it's very important when you use a marker signal that you reward right after. You give the treat right after, so that you do the sound and then boom, give the treat. Now, the next thing that I want to talk about, and lastly that I want to touch on, is duration. Increasing the time that dogs can do certain behaviors. So in this case, with the down, I want them to stay in that down position. I don't just want them to get back up. A lot of times with dog owners, I can kind of see people will be like, okay, my dog goes down, which is great. And then the dog will go down, and then they'll get back up, and then the owners will give them a treat. But we want them to be able to stay in that behavior. So in order to get duration, it's very important that we do little baby steps. Maybe in the beginning, I'll mark the dog for doing it for 1 second, then for 2 seconds, then for 3 seconds. I'm not going to expect the dog to stay down and me walk into a different room, especially at this age. So the key is doing it in little steps so the dog can actually succeed. Because remember, we want the dog to be able to succeed. And then if they do succeed often, they'll want to engage more. That's the key. We want the dogs to want to be a part of this. And we are excited to show you. Okay, puppies, let's go show them. Let's go show them the training, okay? Are you a little tired though? Okay, let's go. Now let's switch it up a bit. We don't want to make this boring. Let's get them to a down position. Remember, body language is more salient than verbal language. Good. So I'm not actually going to say down. Another process and another reason of why I don't want to say down either too is because you can get a process known as blocking. And really what starts to happen is that they don't actually listen to the down. They're actually just watching your hand and they're using the treat as a lure. Good. I like this. I like that you're staying in that position. Good. See how I just keep feeding the treats to Grace while she's down? Good. Ooh, I love it. Do you see how I'm working it back up to my eyes? Good. Excellent. Good. Give it good for Hope here. And just like before, how good I increased the duration of the sit, I can actually increase the duration of the down as well. And this is the first time that I'm doing this with Grace. Good. See how they just stay in it? Good. Ooh, I like that. And we're also getting that allele-mimetic behavior now because good. Hope's starting to notice, hey, why is my sister getting all the treats? Good. I'll give it for that. Good. So now see me marking those behaviors? They're doing really, really, really well for their first time. Good. I'm increasing my success by just using the marker. Good. Good. Wow, you guys are doing great. I'm so proud of my little puppies. Look at them. Good. So look at that. So they did excellent there. And be sure that when you do training in the beginning, remember, they don't understand what English is or what any other language is. So use body language first. Good. I'll just mark them for staying in that behavior, that down behavior. And be sure to practice one thing at a time. Don't forget about getting that good eye contact. You can see it. It's way better than before, than the first time we were training. But make sure to add the marker in. And when you do the marker, whatever your marker is, say, give them the treat right after. You'll notice I say "g." The reasoning that I use "g" as my marker is because a lot of people say "good boy," "good girl." And that way too, if someone else is training my dog, when they hear "good boy" or "good girl," my dogs are really just listening to the G sound. So then they know, hey, I'm getting this treat or I'm getting this attention from this person because I did this behavior when they said "good girl." They're not really listening to the rest of it. So a lot of other people use clickers, so you can use clickers. Some people go, yes, you can do that too as well. There's so many different markers you can use, but the key is marking the behaviors you want. So look at this. Now I'm gonna give them pets while they're in this position. And look at this, I'm not forcing them to stay in this position, but they're just staying there now. So this is why a lot of times people will say, will be like down, and then I see their dogs get up right away. But that tells me right away, hey, this person hasn't been increasing the duration or increasing the time that these behaviors are happening. So don't forget to increase the time of your sit, of you're down, even the shake a paw. When a dog shakes your paw, remember, we can use this to our advantage, and we can increase the time of this shake a paw, so we can do things like, hey, maybe I can trim their nails, or hey, maybe I need to assess their paw. So don't forget to increase the duration of the cues that they learn, but don't talk so much. Try to just use the marker at first, and it'll save you a lot of time with training. Later, we'll post a different episode of how to actually train the dogs with the verbal cues, but that's way later on. First, we just got to teach them the body language cues and get a general understanding. So, we'll talk to you soon. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and what else? Wait, what else? Where else? Oh, YouTube. That's right. Okay, we'll talk to you soon. Happy training.